TikTok is home to some of the most popular trends on the internet, the Ice Bucket Challenge and Cinnamon Challenge to name a few. But what happens when some of these TikTok trends start to become extremely dangerous to whoever participates in them? Well, today we will be looking at TikTok's most dangerous trends, starting with the One Chip Challenge. The One Chip Challenge is a viral internet trend that took off on TikTok and other social media platforms, where participants eat a chip, but not just any old chip. It is probably the spiciest chip on planet Earth.
Oh my god. It's so bad.
Bro, you good?
It's so spicy. How did I do this?
You good?
No! Bro, look at my face right now. You think I'm good, bro? Oh my gosh, bro! My whole body, bro!
The goal of the challenge is to simply eat the chip and take on the spiciness, film your reaction, and boom, free TikTok video. The trend initially started around 2016 as a marketing stunt for Pakai, the company that made the chip. The trend didn't start getting popular until around 2020 though, during the pandemic, where users would find anything to fill up the time. The trend exploded in popularity thanks to TikTok, where creators would rack up millions of views participating in this trend. However, this challenge would quickly turn dangerous when TikTok users discovered that the chip contains some of the world's hottest peppers, rated over 2 million Scoville units, which can not only cause severe irritation to the mouth, throat, and stomach, but in some cases can even cause heart and respiratory issues. And unfortunately, in 2023, tragedy struck. A 14-year-old boy named Harris Woolabar from Massachusetts would tragically pass away hours after taking part in the One Chip Challenge. And while an official cause of death wasn't immediately confirmed, the incident drew national attention and concern. And in response to the tragic event, schools would start banning the chip to potentially stop anyone who wanted to try this challenge. And the chip company, Pakai, would eventually be pulled from the shelves, issuing warnings that it isn't safe for children. And people still partake in this challenge. You might even see streamers here and there doing the One Chip Challenge. But thankfully kids aren't out here doing it for some TikTok views. The Skull Breaker Challenge. The Skull Breaker Challenge was a viral TikTok trend that emerged in early 2020 and quickly gained notoriety for being extremely dangerous. The challenge typically involved 3 people standing in a row. When the person in the middle was prompted to jump, the 2 other people would then suddenly kick their legs out from underneath them, causing them to fall backward uncontrollably. The name Skullbreaker came from its real risk of victims hitting their heads on the ground. The trend was believed to have started in Venezuela before spreading rapidly across TikTok. As videos of the stunt circulated, more young people began attempting it, often without fully understanding what might go wrong. And while it may have seemed like a harmless prank to some, the outcomes were far from funny. The challenge would lead to a wave of injuries globally, including concussions, fractured skulls, spinal damage, and even hospitalizations. One teenager in the US was even reportedly knocked unconscious after participating in the challenge. And even a kid in Brazil, only 16 years old, would tragically pass away after following this trend. As the dangers of this trend became apparent, schools and parents began warning others to steer clear of the trend. Some schools sent letters home to families, and several media outlets ran stories highlighting the injuries caused.
Ouch. It's called the Skullbreaker Challenge here. Officials say that it's very dangerous and warn against it because it can literally break your skull. And now it's made its way here to South Florida schools. NBC6 reporter Jamie Gorola is live in Aventura tonight. He spoke to a teen who was injured while doing it. Jamie.
Yeah, the high school freshman said she had no idea about the social media challenge that we just said was also called the Skullbreaker Challenge.
Ready, set, ready, go.
This happened last week at South Dade Senior High. The teen in the middle says she was bullied into participating in this social media challenge she says she never heard about.
I jumped really high, and I remember them kicking me off my feet, and I fell on my head. And I was like, what just happened?
And the crazy thing was, the trend didn't just lead to mass injuries, but would also land some people in jail after kicking the legs of someone who got seriously hurt. This would get so bad to the point where TikTok had no choice but to join in. They would mass delete any videos doing the trend or promoting it, urging users to not attempt or partake in the challenge. The Skullbreaker Challenge became a cautionary tale about how quickly viral trends can escalate, especially when young people are involved. The Blackout Challenge. The blackout challenge on TikTok is a revival of a dangerous childhood dare known as the choking game, but now amplified by TikTok. Participants, often children or young teens, will use a belt, rope, or anything similar to intentionally cut off oxygen supply to the brain until they lose consciousness, aiming to capture a brief euphoric high from doing this challenge. Although this dare dates back decades, it has been trending on TikTok as the pass out challenge or the blackout challenge. It would trend during early 2021, when videos of people partaking in the challenge started popping up everywhere. However, this challenge caused some extremely bad things. An incident in Italy from January of 2021, in which a 10-year-old girl would do said challenge, would unfortunately be found brain dead after doing it for a video, leading to the Italian government blocking social media for people under 13, or the 10-year-old from Pennsylvania who choked herself to the point where she was rushed to hospital and unfortunately passed away not even a week later. There are many cases of kids and teenagers getting seriously hurt or worse off dead after participating in this challenge. In response, TikTok and other platforms implemented challenge warnings that come up whenever a user searches up a challenge on social media, but it just shows you how scary some of these trends can get. The chroming challenge, aka whip talk. The TikTok chroming challenge is an extremely dangerous trend that emerged on TikTok. Chroming has always been a thing, and it is a phrase that refers to the act of inhaling toxic chemicals such as deodorant or paint fumes in an attempt to get some sort of high. Now, TikTok did not create or popularize chroming. However, it has amplified the amount of people trying it just to get a quick high. And today, we will be talking about the influence of it on TikTok and how that all went wrong. So yeah, we know what chroming is and how it started, but what exactly happened for it to be known as a dangerous TikTok trend? Well, sooner or later, it was only a matter of time before chroming would trend on TikTok. It's a cheap way to get high and something that is very easy for kids or teenagers to partake in. However, this challenge is extremely dangerous, and I'm not exaggerating whatsoever. I've always dabbled in substances here and there, and I would say I'm pretty responsible with it, but chroming or whippets is something you should never ever try no matter what. It affects everybody differently, but it still does the same to everyone. It kills your brain cells, literally, and it can cause much worse, such as a heart attack, immediate death, or even paralysis. But yeah, this would start trending on TikTok along with the meme Galaxy Gas, and it would actually convince some young teenagers and kids to partake in the quote challenge. The inhalation of these chemicals can deprive the brain of oxygen, leading to hallucinations, seizures, cardiac arrest, unconsciousness, and even sudden death. The chemicals also have long-term effects such as brain damage, organ failure, and memory loss. Yeah guys, I wasn't joking, this shit is seriously bad for you. One of the most tragic incidents linked to the chroming challenge would occur in early 2024, when an 11-year-old from the UK tragically passed away after attempting the challenge. He did this trend with his friends, who would later be diagnosed with permanent neurological damage and respiratory failure. As a result, communities and online platforms have been forced to strictly monitor anyone who posts about chroming, but just like it has always been a thing, it will probably be a thing forever. But please, never even consider that shit. It can seriously get you hurt. The Benadryl challenge. This TikTok challenge is a dangerous viral trend where participants consume large amounts of Benadryl to try and experience hallucinations or a high. This would first trend around mid-2020 and would quickly gain attention among teenagers on TikTok. I was actually in high school during this time, and I specifically remember this girl in my class who did this, and it went really bad. And taking a lot of Benadryl will give you a high, but to give you guys a bit of a simulation of what it would be, it is the most horrifying thing I think you could ever do. Not just that, but taking such a high dose will also fuck your internal organs permanently. Many young teenagers and even kids have tragically passed away from partaking in this challenge. In response to these incidents, the FDA issues warnings highlighting the risks of overdosing on Benadryl. TikTok would also take action by removing videos promoting the challenge, blocking related hashtags, and adding warnings to discourage participation. Even Johnson & Johnson, the maker of Benadryl, would make efforts to share the public dangers of misusing the product. Parents and schools would even issue warnings, and it got so bad that even the news would report on this trend.
The parents of a 13-year-old boy who died participating in a TikTok Benadryl challenge are warning other parents to keep an eye on what their kids are watching on social media. ABC's Lionel Moise has the story.
This morning, new warnings about the Benadryl challenge on TikTok after the death of a 13-year-old in Ohio.
I'm going to do everything I can to try to make sure another child doesn't go through it.
In the dangerous stunt, users take 12 to 14 pills of the antihistamine Benadryl in hopes of hallucinating. Jacob Stevens tried it with friends filming, but instead of hallucinating, his body started seizing.
Overall, the Benadryl challenge is a stark reminder that even common medicines can be deadly if misused. The nutmeg challenge. This challenge became a viral trend where participants consume large amounts of nutmeg powder, often several tablespoons, in an attempt to experience a hallucinogenic high. Nutmeg contains a compound called myristicin, I think that's how you pronounce it, which can produce psychoactive effects when ingested in high doses. And it is very similar to the Benadryl challenge we just talked about, where the high you get is just horrifying, and it's mainly done by kids and young teens who are just being stupid. But just like doing a lot of Benadryl, doing a lot of nutmeg can have some really bad side effects. The challenge would gain popularity on TikTok around 2018 to 2020, fueled by short videos encouraging users to take a dare and share their experience. The dangers of the nutmeg challenge lies in the toxicity of the myristicin. When taken in excessive amounts, which is what most of these kids were doing in these challenges, it can cause nausea, vomiting, dizziness, rapid heartbeat, confusion, hallucinations, and severe agitation. And it can even cause seizures, a coma, and even death. I think it is safe to say that this is one of the most dangerous and stupid TikTok trends of all time. Overall, the TikTok Nutmeg Challenge serves as a reminder of how seemingly harmless viral trends can pose unexpected dangers. TikTok Dragon Breath Challenge. The Dragon Breath Challenge is a viral TikTok trend that took a dramatic turn for the worse. Participants of this trend will take a snack called Chiki Nibu, again I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, that releases vapors when dipped in liquid nitrogen, giving the illusion of breathing like a dragon. The danger obviously lies within the liquid nitrogen because you should never be consuming it. It can cause burns to your internal organs and can do irreversible damage. And I bet you guys can guess what I'm about to say next. In Indonesia, more than 20 children were hospitalized with food poisoning after following this TikTok trend, with it reaching Western TikTok shortly after, forcing TikTok and the media to put out warnings about the challenge, serving as a stark reminder that not all viral food trends are safe. But the most important question of this all, what is TikTok doing to keep our kids safe? Well, after lawsuits and backlash, TikTok has taken some extreme measures to try and protect anyone from potentially partaking in these dangerous challenges. When searching for dangerous challenges on TikTok, users are quickly met with a link to TikTok steps to stay safe. These steps encourage users to stop, think, decide, and then act before accepting a challenge. Personally, I think they can do a lot more, but then again, you can't really do much with how powerful these trends can be on TikTok. Acting on dangerous challenges means not sharing it with others, not liking it, and reporting it to TikTok as inappropriate right away. And although these steps can be helpful, they are not enough. Many lives have already been lost or forever changed by senseless challenges. Although new challenges pop up daily, TikTok relies on users to report them as inappropriate before taking action. But that wraps up today's video on TikTok's most dangerous trends. And if you want to find out the most degenerate people on TikTok, click the video on the screen.